All right, guys, the news is nonstop, and today we got more, so timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off with Konnan. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about Konnan's Hall of Fame speech, and obviously, the way he inducted Rey Mysterio was really, really great. But now more and more people are talking about possible relationships with Triple H and WWE working with AAA. Now, the reason for this is because Konnan has everybody wondering what was said backstage between the two parties. So on Keeping It 100, which is Konnan's podcast, he was actually speaking about this. And in regards to him meeting Triple H, he says, yes, I did. I did have a conversation with Triple H. He was very nice. I don't want to get into it, but it looks like we might have another conversation. Now, people are sending me this Discord, and they're saying, Ango, what do you make out of this? So if you guys aren't in Discord, make sure you guys check it out. I was just live, so I don't know when this video is being uploaded, but at some point it'll be uploaded in the next day or so, and I'll have it scheduled out. But somebody, while I was live, was showing me this link, and they said, hey, what do you make out of this? Do you think we'll have a working relationship between AAA and WWE? And realistically, I think anything is possible. With Vince or Triple H running creative, I don't think that really matters. WWE as a company does have plans for globalization of the NXT brand, and it actually aligns a lot with UFC. If you look at the UFC, they're opening up Performance Institutes, which is their version of the Performance Center. They're opening those up in different countries as well. So WWE obviously opening up their own PI would be a really good idea. We all know that WWE is trying to do NXT Europe. We know NXT Asia, NXT Japan, all of these different things were brought up before. Now, what about Mexico? And it would make a lot of sense with WWE having those conversations with AAA to bring in Dragon Lee and recording it at their event. There could be more coming from Konnan, and maybe even Konnan becomes an on-screen character because of the LWO and everything like that. We'll see what happens, but this is something to definitely pay attention to. Guys, really quick, I want to give you an update on the WWE draft, because if you missed my live stream, you may have missed it. The WWE draft was confirmed. Triple H made the announcement that the draft is coming back. Now, everybody wants to know when it's going to be happening. Worked Wrestling on Twitter, who has been killing it with some of these stories, I thought this was a really good thing, and I think there's some significance here. But WWE is reportedly going to have the WWE draft on May 8th in Jacksonville, Florida, which, by the way, is the home of AEW. So I don't know if there's any significance there, but there's a ton of rumors that WWE will reveal the new championship belts at the draft. Whatever major changes are going to be happening, they're expected to happen at the draft. And maybe this is WWE's reason for not having so many surprises for Raw and SmackDown after Mania. Now, bear with me. I'm not trying to defend WWE here. As far as surprises go, this week was the ultimate letdown. But I am curious to know if maybe WWE wants to have the draft every year super close to WrestleMania season. So that way, after WrestleMania, we could then go into the draft, and that's when we get our NXT call-ups and our big reset. And I think that would be the perfect way to reset the WWE every year in terms of storylines. I expect tons of NXT call-ups for the WWE draft, and it's going to be happening in Jacksonville. So again, I don't know if there's any significance, but WWE says this is a new era. Vince McMahon on Monday definitely didn't impress us, and then Friday, it doesn't look like Vince McMahon was anywhere near the product. So if it's going to be more like Friday night, I am totally cool with it. If it's going to be more like Monday night, I think I'll just end up watching NXT and SmackDown. I don't know what else to make of it, but that's the update in regards to the draft. I'm super excited about the draft. Don't know who's going to get drafted, but as we get more details, more news, I'm sure things will leak. I'll keep you guys covered. With that being said, guys, I have to provide an update on Drew McIntyre. Mixed reporting is becoming a real thing with Drew McIntyre, and that's why I feel inclined to give you this update. So PW Insider reported that Drew McIntyre was pulled from the show and signing and was replaced by Gunther. So we talked about that, right? Drew McIntyre then, according to Dave Meltzer, said is off of the show because of a health issue. Now, it's unknown what the health issue is, but then you also get a third reporter, which is Wade Keller, coming out providing an update that McIntyre is, in fact, it is in addition to health, but McIntyre is said to be unhappy with creative and money for the offer that he was given for from WWE for his next deal. Wade Keller says, we alluded to this, and there's been talk that he is unhappy with his current situation in WWE, and I'm hearing it's kind of a mix of creative and money and what kind of offer he's getting for a renewal. It sounds like WWE is taking seriously the possibility that he is going to let his deal run out rather than agree to something that he believes is less than what he deserves or less than what he thinks he has coming. Keller then continued to say he was going to be at SmackDown and now he has been pulled. So I think that situation will probably, based on what I'm hearing, be decided pretty quickly one way or another. Wow. So you got Meltzer, PW Insider, and Wade Keller all saying something relatively different. So what is happening with Drew McIntyre? My friends, this is why I'm bringing you this update. This is the reason why I'm talking about it today. Years ago, Twitter and YouTube had you convinced that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were unhappy with the WWE. That they were so pissed about the WWE. And of course, Kevin Owens played into it with the Mount Rushmore tweet, the latitude and longitude, the coordinates, right? And then social media really made you think that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were going to leave, and then it appears that they re-signed. Then you see this incredible main event between Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sami Zayn's in a massive match with Johnny Knoxville. A year later, they headline night 1 of WrestleMania. My friends, I am not sitting here telling you that Drew McIntyre isn't leaving WWE. That could very well happen by the end of the year, right? That is a possibility. However, let's not get into this whole baited thing where it sounds like Drew McIntyre for sure is pissed off at WWE and then he's going somewhere else, whether that's AEW or elsewhere. Which, by the way, the wrestling industry is so healthy right now. If Drew McIntyre did leave, he's going to get paid very well outside of WWE. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. There is not one superstar on that roster that makes the WWE what it is. Unfortunately, that is the truth. And I say unfortunately because I would like to believe that is the truth, but it's not. WWE is a well-oiled machine, and as long as they keep putting people on their roster, they're going to be fine, right? So I have to make that abundantly clear that Drew McIntyre leaving wouldn't be a bad thing. But keep in mind, there is always a good possibility when you see this many mixed reports, there's always a good possibility that the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I do want to make that also very clear. If Drew McIntyre is for sure leaving the WWE, there is nothing wrong with that. If he decides to stay, there's nothing wrong with that. This could all be a ploy for him to get the money and creative that he wants. But also at the same time, too, Drew McIntyre, since COVID era, he has completely shown us that WWE backs him. They put him in big-time feuds, big-time matches. I don't know what else more you could want from that. So with that being said, we'll move on. And that leads us to Bayley. There have been tons and tons and tons of rumors that Bayley has requested her release from WWE. People are assuming this because of the fact that Bayley has been tweeting on Twitter, and people have a hard time distinguishing whether or not this is in character or whether this is not in character. The reason why it is incredibly important to talk about this is because there is this belief that perhaps Bayley actually did not request her release, but she is in fact staying in the WWE and is completely fine with what's going on, and there actually is a storyline to all of this. Now, just the other day, the belief was that Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley are done with Damage Control. If you go off of Bayley's tweets, you would be convinced that all three of them might be out of the company. And then what's interesting is so many other wrestlers had responded to this. It has led to a lot of people truly believing that Bayley is gone. Now, anything, of course, is possible. But as of right now, there is zero indication that Bayley has actually requested her release or has any issue with the WWE or anything like that. There is this belief, for the most part, that Bayley will be coming back to television with some sort of storyline attached to it. My guess is that Damage Control will end. My guess is that Bayley is going to leave the group, but there's going to be more, and we'll see what happens. So, did she request her release? It's always possible, but nothing has been confirmed that for that to be the case. It seems to all be a storyline, and multiple reports seem to agree with that. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and I'll, yeah.